10 years ago, as our supply chains gradually became more and more intertwined, ties between Russia, China, and the West were improving. The Russian invasion of the Ukraine and the subsequent deterioration of ties between the United States and Russia were both hastened by the epidemic. There were sanctions coming from every direction, and they all seemed to converge on the United States and the strength of the US dollar. Though logical, it caught many by surprise. Yet the present world order places a premium on the US dollar's supremacy in international commerce, especially in the oil and energy sectors. However, the East is putting up a fight. They are not going to take this lying down, and it is possible that we are now witnessing the simultaneous collapse of the present world order and the US dollar. However, there is a beacon of hope. A haven and strategy for keeping our money safe even if the dollar collapses. Welcome to Financial Fortune, the channel where we unravel the intricate web of global finance and provide you with the insights you need to navigate an ever-changing world. In today's groundbreaking video, we dive deep into a monumental event that marks the beginning of the collapse of the New World Order. Join us as we analyze the signs, explore the implications, and shed light on the transformative shifts happening on the global stage. Get ready to challenge your perspectives and uncover the truth. This is Financial Fortune. Why did it all fall apart? But what triggered this whole mess in the first place? Russia's invasion of Ukraine isn't the initial spark, though. And it has nothing to do with Western sanctions against Russia. The Western financial systems started their worst collapse in decades more than 15 years ago. The world economy began to collapse. The decline of a global American hegemony followed suit. We'd lowered the cost of borrowing money, leading millions of individuals to take out loans they couldn't possibly pay off in order to buy expensive homes they couldn't afford. Eventually, though, many were unable to repay their debt, and the system collapsed. Our governments used a novel approach to dealing with the crisis by adopting quantitative easing and printing money. Most people believed this QE thing wasn't that horrible at first because it didn't go horribly, inflation was moderate, and it took the better part of 5 years to come out of the recession. However, once COVID arrived, the government imposed a severe economic downturn. Our governments were pushed to once again resort to QE at its core. They created new currency and spent it quickly. Even though no actual manufacturing or economic activity was taking place, they did all they could to boost the economy. Inflation, which many of us had predicted would happen and which did so at a far faster rate than the government had anticipated, finally materialized. The new alliance nominal values were close to 10, and the true readings were far higher. When the value of the dollar reached $15 or above, it was revealed as a worthless piece of paper backed by the world's most reckless government. And all of a sudden, its might seemed diminished. Of course, that wasn't the end of it. America's rivals have a low value for the dollar. Chose this moment to act in order to retaliate against the US currency and remove it from its perch of dominance. Step forward BRICS, the new union of expanding nations intent on global conquest. They saw there was potential for more than just a figment of a JP Morgan banker's imagination to increase stock sales from these countries. South Africa, Brazil, Russia, India, and China all moved forward. While South Africa isn't exactly a reliable ally, the organization still carries significant weight because of the growth of India, Brazil, and China and Russia's command over a substantial portion of the world's natural resources. The Saudi government has also publicly stated its desire to join the group. But how successful have these nations been in their attacks on the US dollar? It all begins with China's claim that the US currency is not as valuable as is often believed. As of last year, the US dollar has been used in every oil transaction for the better part of a century, even when the US was not involved in the deal. Therefore, oil purchases by China from Saudi Arabia would be priced and paid for in US dollars. However, the attack began right here. China and Saudi Arabia started talking about the idea of China paying in other currencies besides the US dollar for oil purchases. Given the state of affairs with the United States, it was determined to at least consider such negotiations. Things went more smoothly than most people realize. A little over a year ago, they had a test run in which China paid for oil in yuan instead of dollars. Having said that, the deal was nevertheless priced in dollars because Saudi Arabia lacked confidence in the yuan. Months have passed since that occurrence, and they've repeated the procedure several times. As a result, other countries are beginning to see that they, too, may be able to do something along these lines. The brand new money. The assault now enters its most perilous phase. Rather than just using another money to purchase oil, a new currency backed by oil would have to be created. Over the last year, Putin has made several speeches, as one might expect from the leader of a country at war, and he has made it quite clear that he is waging this war not against the Ukrainians but rather to seek entry into the West, against NATO, and against the United States. In these public appearances, he has been hinting at his plans for a common currency, but this is no ordinary fiat money that can be simply pumped away and has no confidence. His fundamental point is that we are not engaging in reckless monetary expansion. His true intentions are made very apparent by this Allah. Putin thinks the US dollar is on the decline because its leaders have been careless with it, and that now is the perfect time for a new currency to emerge and displace it. And this is when he gains an advantage thanks to the BRICS. With Saudi Arabia on their side, they control even more of the world's natural resources, and together they control the equivalent of around a third of the planet's land mass. Although specifics are scant at the moment, Russia appears committed to the idea that these nations will join forces to create a single currency that will not be controlled by any one nation but by all of them jointly, and whose value will be backed by the commodities these nations export. Despite the fact that convincing India and China to join the coalition may be extremely challenging, Russia has already taken steps toward eliminating the fiat character of the ruble by setting a fixed exchange rate of 1 gram of gold for 5,000 rubles, effectively making it gold-backed and maybe the only non-sort of fiat currency in circulation today. And while the ruble is not doing great, it has lost almost 30% of its value in the past year since Russia began requiring payment in rubles for natural gas. It is not doing horribly either and has confounded the predictions of economists across the world. Gold. Gold, as a type of money that cannot be generated out of thin air, may be our savior from the dangers of governments creating more, arguing the worth of what we already have, and taking it right out from under our eyes. Although many predicted that cryptocurrencies will eventually replace gold, individuals who put all their eggs in the crypto basket have likely come to deeply regret their decision. PAX-G is a gold-backed cryptocurrency that stores 1 physical ounce of gold for every token issued. Inflation is still going strong, especially in the United States, so that's something more to keep in mind. The government continues to create money at an unprecedented rate to pay for costly but unsustainable infrastructure projects, and keep up with ongoing expenditures that significantly outpace tax revenues. And yes, technically the Fed is still reducing the size of its balance sheet and acting quantitative tightening. However, the rate at which this is occurring is so slow that in order to erase the money, print, and take out post-covered, we would need to see this maintained for literally decades, which is obviously not going to happen. Since core inflation remains stable at around 5% month after month, there is still work to be done. There is still a significant amount of inflation, and it is not going away on its own. The Fed has already decided to act prematurely and say that rate rises are done and not needed, despite the reality that inflation is still decimating the ordinary American's financial account. 2 weeks after the announcement, the market as a whole unanimously placed bets against it since everyone saw how ridiculous it was. So, does anyone seriously believe the Fed can defeat inflation? Or, the honest response would be no. Gold's all-time high levels are highly enticing, and it seems like any day now it may break through and make some individuals very, very rich. Investing in gold mining companies is a leveraged bet in comparison to buying gold outright, and gold seems to be in a very good position going ahead today as the US dollar is under enormous stress. A leader with a proven track record in the gold mining industry is at the helm of US gold mining, and his team is now exploring a site that has shown inferred gold in the earth at a fraction of the price of comparable development sites. US Gold Mining is a company that has been on my radar ever since they held their IPO a few weeks ago. They are definitely an interesting play, and of course, no investment is certain at all. And that concludes our thought-provoking analysis of the collapse of the New World Order, signaling a paradigm shift on a global scale. We hope this video has provided you with valuable insights and a deeper understanding of the changing dynamics in our world. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. At Financial Fortune, we strive to empower you with knowledge and guide you on your financial journey. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time, may your future be shaped by resilience and prosperity. This is Financial Fortune, signing off.